Note that this content is for adults only. Viewer discretion advised. If you haven't yet, hit the subscribe, like, and share.
I really don't think she would have ever done anything like that. To just pick up and run away with no trace of anything.
She was really talkative. She's nice. But just to see what happened and how many cool people we have in this world is really devastating. Because she was only 13 and she lost her life at a young age.
Nobody expected that something like this would happen. And it was like a hole is missing because everybody at school even, they're sad. On Monday and Friday, teachers were crying. Everybody's sad about it, so to get justice, it would there's still gonna be a hole in people's hearts, but it might close it a bit more just if there's justice.
Hello everyone and welcome back to another live stream with me, Grizzly K. This is Grizzly True Crime, and today we are going to do another deep dive on this document. We're continuing to read the 896-page document that came from the District Attorney's Office. His name is Andrew Bain, in the Madeline Soto case. I'm very grateful that we are able to have this information so that we can understand what happened here. And hopefully there could be lessons shared, and hopefully there will be full justice for Madeline Soto, who was murdered right after she just turned 13. She turned 13 on February 22nd of 2024. To some of her friends she said, when I turn 13, I'm going to run away and live in the woods. To other friends, she said, when I turn 18, I'm leaving forever. Shame, man. We've read so much and learned so much, about her, especially over all the live streams, but definitely from this document as well, and what had happened. Allegedly, she was murdered on February 26th. Actually, the District Attorney's Office says between the 25th and the 27th. But they say that from video surveillance, which we've heard a lot about from these documents now, they believe that she was already deceased in the vehicle with Stephan Sterns on February 26th of 2024. And by March 1st, they found her body. And it was where Stephan Sterns had not only been spotted by witnesses acting shady, pretending to change a tire, but also where his phone and car and all that stuff had shown he was, right? Didi Reynolds says, justice for sweet Maddie. Thank you for showing her so much love. We've got you, Maddie. Yes. And I just want to say before I start, welcome, of course, to all my moderators. Thank you so much for everything you do. If you guys want to buy the mods some coffees, we do have a special buy me a coffee link just for the moderators. You can find it on grizzlytruecrime.com. Go to the support page, scroll past all the ways to support me and the work I do, and right there you'll see what is a moderator and how to support the moderators. So thank you to everyone who does buy coffees for the moderators. Welcome to all my patrons, members, subscribers, everyone that's new here. I saw Penelope say in chat, it's my first live stream. Welcome to it. Welcome to anyone who's brand new here. Make sure that you do hit the subscribe button and put your notifications on so that you don't miss future live streams. This is part 3, as I say. If you want to see part 1 and 2 of this document deep dive, it's in the description box. And then, what else do I want to say? Oh, if you want to get notifications, you can go to Patreon. I normally make those posts public depending on what I'm posting. Sometimes I post obviously special videos or voice clips or whatever for my patrons. Those posts are just for them. But many posts are public to notify you of upcoming live streams. So you can go over there and get those. Joanna, oh my goodness, thank you so much. And Araceli Spicy Chica, thank you very much as well. You guys all very sweet. And we all get through this together, right? Because this document, in this case, it's very heavy, very difficult. Really, it's so sad to think what Madeline's life was like. I mean, she was, according to the documents, sexually abused by her mother's boyfriend since she was 8 years old. You know? So, wow. Okay. So, where we left off yesterday, it's pop quiz time. Does anyone remember? luckily I've got notes for myself as well. I've got a cheat sheet here that you guys don't have. Okay, let's quickly see. We went up to page 120 yesterday. Now, as I've told you, it's an 896 page document, but a lot of it is screenshots of maps, and it all looks similar because it's tracking Stephan Sterns' cell phone activity. So that's many pages, probably like half the document. Okay, so we're actually gonna, I think in part 3 today, we're gonna be able to finish this document based on me reading the whole document and making notes for you and making sure we go to the page where you're gonna get the most information, because I'm not here to waste your time. I'm bringing you the information in the most concise way I possibly can. What can we learn from this? For example, today we're gonna hear from police interviews in this document from Maddie Soto's maths teacher, science teacher. We're also going to see that Stephan Sterns actually factory reset his phone twice. Twice is what this document says at the end. I'm like, accidentally with a push notification twice? There's no push notification for a factory reset. But he claims to have factory reset his phone by mistake. Twice. Okay, meanwhile, he had a whole Google Drive account with more than 1,700 pictures and things in there, CSAM, which is just horrible. He will have 2 trials, one for the CSAM charges. If you guys have never heard what CSAM is, it's a much better word than child PORN. That is an inappropriate phase, which is changing now. People are calling it CSAM, which is appropriate. Child, sorry, YouTube, I'm going to say some bad words though. Child sexual abuse material, CSAM, CSAM. So he's going to have a trial for that. I think he'll be locked away forever and ever and ever just based on that. And then later, at some point, he'll have another trial for the capital murder charge. That one was set for around August, but I think it's going to shift. I'm sure there'll be delays because it's a death penalty case now. The state is seeking the death penalty against Stephan Sterns, who's 37 years old. Overprotected 111 says, "You're truly the best, Gisela. Thank you for the special work you do for these baby angels." Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. All right, so we're going from page... so on my notes here, and I just triple checked myself today, page 141 up to 168, it talks about Stephan Sterns interfering with custodial rights. Initially, while they were building the case, they arrested him for the CSAM and that because they're like, why would he be dropping off at school and all of the things. So they said he interfered with custodial rights. And then from page 141 to 168, it's just search warrants and redacted pages. And I mean redacted like as in just completely blank pages. They put a huge black square or rectangle actually over the entire page. So we're skipping that. We're on page 193 now, where here they talk about, let me make myself a little bit smaller here so you can actually see. If you are new here, this is Madeline Soto, the victim in this case. We're Team Madeline, right? And we want the truth of what happened. And if there's anyone else that needs to be arrested, I'm sure they will be. They are working very hard on this investigation and it continues. And they said no one's been cleared. They continue the investigation, right? Okay. So if we look here, I don't know why it's Jenn Soto's name is here with forensic tech. Okay, all right, forensic unit. Date 1st of March of 2024. And so what I wanted to show you here really was just that at the scene where they found Maddie's body, they took 192 photographs and they submitted 3 items into evidence. So nothing really to talk about there. I just wanted to show you that in case you wonder, I wonder how many photos they would take at a scene like that. Unfortunately, as we know, the sheriff accidentally posted one of those photos on Instagram in like a gallery. He apologized for that and he's being investigated for that. He did take that picture down eventually. That was terrible. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 194, which shows the location where Maddie's body was found. I'll actually show you quickly. Do I still have it on the map here? Wait, let's go get it. Let's fix it. Here we go. Okay, we want this. We want the map. Okay. So again, this happened in Florida. For those of you who don't know, happened in Florida, happened this year, February 26th of 2024. By February 28th, Stephan Sterns was arrested. He was already prime suspect from the get-go, right? And things just got much, much worse for him. So this is the Venetian Bay villages and condominiums where Maddie lived with her mom. And then Jenn Soto, her mom, had this on-again, off-again boyfriend who sounds like he's been a predator and a groomer his entire life. He filmed his roommate in secret under the door crack, we found out yesterday from what we read. My word, everywhere he went, he just seemed to have been up to terrible things. And he had a lot of CSAM content on his phone. And as I always say, it's one device. I can't imagine how many other devices he has at his mother's house, or, old computers, old devices, hard drives, accounts maybe that he's sharing things, because these types usually do. Absolutely horrendous. But he was in and out here. He dated Jenn Soto for about 7 years, and they actually broke up in December of 2023, and he'd only been to this home about 2 to 3 times, according to Jenn Soto, since then. Why? If they're broken up, I don't know. Anyway, his parents live in Northport, Florida, and Stephan Sterns was going between Jenn Soto's house and his parents' house. His mother, just giving you lots of random facts, is a poodle breeder. And he said he was looking after them. Because, he's just such a caring guy. He's looking after the elderly. He was also always there for Madeline Soto. Meanwhile, look what he was actually doing. My goodness. So yeah, the parents live in Northport, Florida. If that sounds familiar to you, that's because that's where the Laundries live in the Gabby Petito case. Don't know how close or far. I haven't checked into that, but they live in that area. And so this is where the home is, and he claims to have been driving around here looking for a vape shop that was going to open and after dropping Madeline off at school, which never happened. He actually went that day, drove around with her body in the vehicle, and then he went to this 9271 South John Young Parkway to a hotel, to a parking garage, drove in there, went to the top floor, took her body out of the passenger seat, carried her limp body, put it in the trunk of the vehicle, drove around. He said he had lots of time to kill, and then eventually ended up in this area. This is where they found Madeline Soto's body. The police were called out to around this area, is what they say in the documents, because 1 or 2 witnesses had actually seen him out there and thought, the guy looks so shady. He's like holding a tire iron and changing a tire. It turns out he actually did get a flat tire there, because they found tire fragments in this area right here. So I'll show you that now in the documents. But her body, not where this point is, it was actually found here. You can see my arrow, right? Yeah, the pointer right here. And so they actually said it was 72 feet or so from the road. And if you measure from here to here, it is 72 feet. So he went somehow, the tire fragments were found on this side. I don't know if he turned around and then had a flat here, or if he had a flat in here and then quickly drove out and just tried to change his tire over here. Anyway, I'm so glad that happened to him and witnesses saw him so they could actually find Madeline's body, because who knows how long it would have taken else, if that was not the scenario. Even though I think they tracked his phone there and everything. Point is, tire fragments were found here from his vehicle, and her body was found in this Hickory Tree Road area, which they mentioned at the press conference, if you remember that. Thank goodness it didn't go. I don't know if there's alligators in this lake, but I know that Florida is like alligator state. And we were all very worried at the time when they said that they may have spotted him around this area. We're like, oh no, like so many bodies of water, right? Okay, also, happy Friday to everyone. Who thought we'd be discussing a topic like this on a Friday, right? Any day is terrible. I'm just saying, oh my word, thank you all for being here. I really, really appreciate it. I do want to make sure we do a good, methodical, thorough job at getting through this document and getting all the facts to you. I'm also going to work on making a summary video of all of this, all the bullet points of everything we learned in this document, okay? Sunshine on a rainy day says justice for Maddie. Absolutely, and that's such a nice handle name. So that's page 194 is the location where they had found Maddie's body. And then page 195 talks about the medical examiner. So the narrative says on Friday, March 1st of 2024 at approximately 16:51 hours, that's 4:51 p.m., I was notified of a death investigation by forensic supervisor, redacted Seda, and was requested to respond to 5670 Hickory Tree Road, which I just showed you. I arrived on scene at approximately 18:23 hours and met with forensic supervisor and Kissimmee Police Department Detective Mark Morris. Detective Morris advised that a missing person investigation was initiated for Madeline Soto, the decedent, on Monday, February 26th of 2024. A search was initiated on this date. Osceola County Sheriff's Office search team located the missing individual deceased at the location mentioned above. So they located her body about a week later on, I think it was March 1st. Jackie, thank you so much. yeah, Michael, I agree with you. You said he may have drugged or overdosed her with his Ativan. This case is scary, hurting a little girl like that. What is in a heart like that? You know, the problem with saying that this guy, I mean, he is all the words one could say, right? A monster, a demon, all the things one could say. But really, I think it's more helpful to say he's a guy. He's like a man that was like on this planet, right? He still is. He's in jail now. Baby boy, can't even show up to court. But like, he fits the profile of a typical groomer. You know, they will infiltrate the home of usually a single mom or a single dad, especially when there's kids in the home. And they will love bomb the crap out of the adult in the house to basically blind them to what they're actually there for. That's what's scary, is actually how much this happens, even though many cases don't end in murder. This one did. It's really scary. So be careful who you let into your home, especially if you're a single parent. Be very, very careful. Maria said, hello, G, new Grizzly, love your channel. Welcome. Thank you so much for being here. So they said they went out there, right, and after conducting a scene walkthrough with forensic supervisor, redacted SADA, and conferring with Detective Morris, I photographically documented the scene. Processed for latent fingerprints and items of evidentiary value were collected. Forensic supervisor SADA contacted forensic technician Hein Nguyen, who responded. In South Africa, they would be like Nguyen, I think. But Nguyen, maybe, who responded to the scene and assisted the FARO 3D scanning. Please refer to a supplement report for further information. On the same date, at approximately 21:27 hours, medico-legal investigator Kirsten Robinson from the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office arrived on scene and took possession of the victim. Can you imagine how horrifying it must be? I know this is their job. I know they do it a lot, but it's still, we're all still human, no matter what our jobs are, right? To go there and pick up a 13-year-old girl who was just put there on her side. She was lying on her left side, they said, in fetal position, just about her knees were bent, just lying on her left side behind those bamboo bushes, and there was vegetation put on her body. Like, oh, my word, just to see that. You have to, you know, oh man, just to collect her body and then examine it. It's just so sad. It must really be a difficult job to do. Take my hat off to all those people, right? Pinche, Becky Zeros Given said Madeline needed her mother to comfort her, not this demon. Justice for Madeline. Thank you, G and Mods, for keeping the chat a safe space. Yes, I'm just going to pop stickers up so I don't interrupt the whole time, but I truly appreciate it. Thank you so much, LAF. So if there's any more, I'm going to pop the stickers up. And if Mods, if you can help me thank everyone, that'll be wonderful. So, man, they say on Monday, March 4th of 2023, forensic technician Guyan arrived at the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office to collect major case prints from the decedent, referred to her report for further information. Observations. I arrived on scene at approximately 18:23 hours on March 1st of 2024 and observed the scene to be secured with crime scene tape, and a crime scene contamination log was initiated. The scene consisted of a private property west of Hickory Tree Road, and tire fragments were observed east of Hickory Tree Road, markers 1 and 2. They'll show us. The property where the decedent was located consisted of a fence and gate enclosing the open field. The gate was observed open. A row of bamboo trees was observed southwest of the gate. The decedent was observed on the north end of the trees. The decedent was found in between the bamboo trees and covered with dead vegetation. She was observed in a prone position with her head face down and facing north. Both her legs were observed bent at the knees and facing south. She was observed wearing a green hoodie with a hood covering her head, blue jeans, and white socks. Oh man, that is so sad. And when these perps, killers, alleged killers, you know, he's not on trial yet, he will be, death penalty, right? When they just leave they just leave them out in the open like that. Oh, I don't know, man. It's just that much worse. So terrible. Just like, okay, drop off and forget. And what, think no one's going to catch you? Do they really think no one's going to catch them? It's so dumb. Stephan Sterns made so many mistakes. Okay, so to continue here, they said Osceola County Sheriff's Office Forensics Unit report of a crime scene investigation. They say medico-legal investigator Kirsten Robinson from the District 9 Medical Examiner's Office arrived at approximately 21:27 hours and took custody of the decedent. Once the body was repositioned for further documentation, she was observed in a state of decomposition with visible insect activity around her face, right, and her right hand. Discoloration was observed on her face, neck, torso, back, and hands. A series of 192 photographs were taken using a Canon EOS Rebel T7i digital camera. They even give the lens and everything. The images consisted of overall mid-range close-up views of the scene, the decedent, and items of evidentiary value. The images were digitally uploaded to Digital on Q. Now, the one thing I wonder about is if Stephan Sterns opened that gate in broad daylight, or because he went driving around in Jenn Soto's vehicle the 2 nights after Madeline was last seen in his vehicle. I wonder if he went back there and moved her body. I still wonder about that, especially because when the police were originally in that area, do you remember the aerial footage we got to see, like the chopper footage? They were very focused on an abandoned house. And I was just wondering if he put her there first and then moved her body at night, because remember he went driving around at between like 3:30 and 4:30 in the morning. I don't know if it was enough time from where he was or not. I have to calculate that. But I'm just wondering, especially because Jenn Soto's vehicle, the K9 responded to it. That's where the final alert was in her vehicle. So I don't know. There's a lot to think about there. There's still obviously lots of gaps in information, but I'm just so grateful that we have much more information now, and I'm sure there will be much more coming out as this case unfolds, right? Angelique says, has there been any hint as to why he did this? I don't know. I don't know why he was... I'm not even going to speculate right now. It's too dark. I don't know why. I'm going to stick to that. So they talk about latent fingerprint processing. The following areas of the metal gate from the property were processed for latent fingerprints using the dusting method with black fingerprint powder, and they're all negative. And they did find gloves in the vehicle. You know, it sounds like those medical gloves. I think they say blue gloves. But it sounds like those, you know, like doctor's gloves, nurse gloves. I don't know. In the vehicle. We'll look at it. We're going to go over that. So I just wonder if he was wearing gloves to go open that gate, making plans. Oh, my word, if it could be a fly on that wall as he's planning this. If he's talking to anyone about it and if they knew about it, that would be interesting. Okay. Kay's Beautiful Struggle says, okay, maybe I missed it, but if one of Maddie's Crocs were left at home, why didn't Jenn notice it? That is a very, very good question. That is an excellent question, Kay. Yes. Why? She's just panicking. One, if you could argue in favor of Jenn Soto not knowing, maybe she was just panicking and didn't notice something like that. But seeing as they both insisted that she was wearing that, and remember how Jenn Soto worded it? She phrased it, she was last seen wearing, as if it's like she's talking like a police officer or something. Like what? Last seen wearing a dark green hoodie, black shorts, and white Crocs. Okay, but there's one Croc at the house. Downstairs. Right there. Where she apparently, allegedly, usually sleeps, right? Okay. So, let's keep going here. Now we go to page 195. Wait, no, we're on page 197 already? Yes, okay. So these are from the FARO scans. A finalized sketch of the scene was completed utilizing FARO Zone software. The sketch is not to scale and all measurements are approximate. So, as you can see, there were those tree lines. And so the Hickory Tree Road is here. And here is marker 1 and 2, where they say the tire fragments were. I would assume that's where he got his flat tire, right? I'm Easy says the Croc must have fallen off her foot when he was taking her deceased body out of the house. Ooh, I don't know. The scary stuff, right? It is odd that the one Croc was there. Okay, let me quickly look at my notes here. Okay, we're still going to page 200. Yeah, so they talk about tire fragment from marker 1, tire fragment from marker 2, and scene photographs is what they collected. Distance of body from the west edge of Hickory Tree Road, 72 feet, right? Okay, and the following measurement of the items of physical evidence were obtained using FARO Scene 2023 software. All measurements are approximate. The distance of the tire tread fragment marker 1 from the west edge of the road, 35.5 foot, and distance of tire tread from the west edge of Hickory Tree Road marker 2, 37 foot. Disposition evidence, items 1 and 2 were transferred to the Osceola County Sheriff's Office Evidence Unit, and item 3 was uploaded to Digital on Q. Now, if you missed it maybe yesterday, I'm sure I could see a lot of people. If you watched part 1, I could see you watching part 2 as well. Thank you for all the comments as well and all the emails too. I really appreciate all your thoughts and input and everything and pointing things out. If you missed it, what are we going to talk about? The tire. Stephan Sterns. Not only was he so dumb, which we're glad about, we're glad when criminals are dumb, to actually go to the trash compactor in the complex and put Maddie's, like a white trash bag with Maddie's backpack in it and school issued laptop, and I think her mathematics books were in there as well, because it's listed here in evidence as well. No, that was in the morning. But he actually went back there in the afternoon to put the original tire in there as well. So yes, police were able to find the tire, one crock, her backpack, school issued laptop, and some books. My goodness. Okay, so we keep going here. And so they say, remarks, this report may contain conclusions and or interpretations made by the author. All times and measurements are approximate. At this time, nothing further was requested from this forensic technician. Okay, so now we're going to go to page 200 to narrative and flat tire. So on 2/26 of 2024 at approximately 23:55 hours, I, Officer Clark, number 909, responded to, redacted in reference to an attempt to locate in reference to a missing juvenile case. The Orange County Sheriff's Office are working. Prior to arrival, I was advised that the Orange County Sheriff's Office is working on a missing juvenile whose primary residence is the aforementioned address. I was advised by Lieutenant O'Nees, number 534, to return to the aforementioned address and make contact with the family, and again advised if she returned home. Upon arrival, I spoke with redacted, her mother, and Stephan Sterns, their mother's boyfriend, actually ex-boyfriend, who both provided me with a verbal statement summarized as follows. On the morning of 2/27/2024, Stephan took Maddie to school in a silver 2010 Lincoln. We know, it sounded very rehearsed. MKZ. Stephan dropped her off a block away from school due to her not wanting to be seen in the old Lincoln. They stated that she forgot her phone at home and that she has ADHD and is usually forgetful. As we discovered yesterday, her PE teacher said that she actually suffered from asthma and needed her inhaler, and yet neither Jenn Soto nor Stephan Sterns mentioned this. Clearly, they were not thinking about her need to breathe, or if she would be panicking if she was truly missing, right? Ooh, that is a huge red flag. So they say, yeah, ADHD, usually forgetful. They stated that she did not take any personal items or leave any notes hinting to her running away. Only the text message on her phone where she told her friend, when I turn 13, I'm going to go live in the woods. Right. They stated they have not had any recent arguments. But yet Maddie was telling her friends her mother was pretty horrible to her, fighting with her, telling her she's going to disown her at age 18 or 19. And anytime she cried at school, she told her friends she's fighting with her mom. She didn't really mention fighting with Stephan Sterns, except she told her counselor that he made her uncomfortable and that he was weird because he just sat around in the living room, ate all their food, and made her uncomfortable. Yeah, Rob says asthma can be life-threatening. Right, Rob? How can they not mention that? To me, that's actually become the biggest red flag in all of this. Is like, wow. So the mom and Stephan mentioned ADHD and possibly Maddie being on the autism spectrum, but no asthma. Doesn't need her inhaler, huh? What? Oh my goodness. So then they say there was a text message sent to her friend stating when she turns. Now, some pages in this document say when she turns 18, she wants to live in the woods. Other pages say age 13. So I don't know if she told different friends, different ages maybe. And at the press conference we watched at the time, the police chief also said age 13, which is why we're also worried because she had just turned 13 as well. That she's like, what, did she really go live in the woods or what was going on, right? So some of them say 18. Don't know if it's a typo or if she literally just sometimes said different ages, okay? Just to clarify. All right, happy Grizzly versary Red Wolf. Thanks for being a member for 9 months. Now, they say, redacted and Stephan allowed me to search, so Jenn and Stephan allowed me to search the residence with negative results for Maddie, I assume. Stephan took me to each family member's vehicles. Oh, I'm sure he did. Mr. Helpful was like, let me just show you the vehicles. Yeah, this is my daddy's car that I drive around in, and this is my ex-girlfriend's car. We're currently separated. If you were there yesterday, you understand the snark I have right now. My word, biggest eye roll for this guy. So they said, I observed a handgun in the rear back pocket of the driver's seat in the Lincoln MKZ, which is his daddy's car, which Stephan stated he usually leaves it in the vehicle. Stephan also advised me, now listen to this. Stephan also advised me not to pay attention to the donut tire on his vehicle due to him recently catching a flat tire earlier that day. Wow. He's like, you see, let me control the whole thing. Okay, like he did when you're standing behind Jenn Soto cracking his knuckles in those media interviews. here as well. It's like, I'll take control. I got this. Okay, so you see these two vehicles. This is the one I drive. Don't pay attention though to the donut tire. Yeah, recently, actually early in the day, caught a flat tire. Okay then. Guess what police are going to do? They're going to look at it. Because he's like, don't look at that. Okay? Don't pay any attention to that. It's nothing. This guy, what a dumbass. Okay, so Redacted provided me with her sister's address. I would assume that's Jenn, which is within walking distance from. I responded to and spoke with Jenn's sister, who stated she has not seen Maddie since her birthday party on the 26th of February of 2024. No, the birthday party is on the 25th. That's definitely not correct. Birthday party was on the 25th. That was a Sunday. She allowed me to search her residence with negative results for Maddie. She allowed me to look in her vehicles as well as inside of a utility van belonging to her grandfather. The utility van has been turned into an RV, which also had negative results for Maddie. On the 27th of February of 2024, at approximately 23:01 hours, I responded back to Redacted to meet with multiple detectives and their supervisors from the OCSO while they interviewed Redacted's family again. Officer Owens, number 914, and I stood by the aforementioned address until properly relieved. This report is also related to the KPD case number. This report will be forwarded to the Records Division. A portion of this incident was captured on my department-issued body-worn camera. The body-worn camera and its footage is maintained by the Kissimmee Police Department. We actually looked at a whole bunch of body camera footage recently, so if you're new here and you didn't see that, maybe you want to catch that live stream replay. There's many replays that, if you like the style of how I do things, of course, here we're really just reading a very long document together and unpacking the facts. But if you like presentations and map time and snark where appropriate, which is usually directed directly at the criminals, that's what we do here. We snark it up at them. Okay, so if you like that type of thing, then maybe you found your tribe. So now let me just check my notes, which page I'll go to next. Yeah, the next one is page 205. Okay. Don't worry, you're not missing out on anything. The reason I made these notes is to save you time. So we're not just going to go over every single page and be like, what is this? So now they say page 205 and 207 is the evidence collected, some in the vehicle, some in the house. So I assume these are now, let me just see, missing person. This would be in the vehicle. Latex gloves, bottom center console. That's the word I was looking for, latex gloves. Cloth gloves, bottom center console. Nail file kit, top center console. Knife, top center console. Napkins, front passenger seat. Napkins, front passenger floor. Latex gloves, front passenger door. Rag, front passenger floor. Tower, RP floor. Rear passenger floor. Tower. Is that like a computer? What's tower? Oh, towel. I'm like a computer tower. Towel. You see why I need you guys. Towel. Even that's the third time I'm reading them. Like tower. Towel. RP floor. Black jacket. Rear passenger floor. Latex glove. Rear passenger floor. A lot of latex gloves. I don't know if it's just because the police had already been through it. That's possible. We saw that. Remember? Debbie Collier's case? Whoa. When they showed photos of that scene and it was like latex gloves everywhere. In the bushes, in the trees, everywhere. We're like, what the hell was that? So maybe the latex gloves are from the forensics team already looking through the vehicle and leaving it there. I would assume so. I don't know if Stephan Sterns really just leave all these gloves around. That would be really dumb. Okay. So then black jacket, latex glove, napkins, and a tan blanket across the back seat. Oh, really? Okay. So anyway, so they say that. And then the next page would be 207, which is evidence collected at the house. They don't really specify it on here much, but you can tell from, oh, this is still in the car. There's another one later from the house. You can tell from what they found and where they're describing it is that it's, either in the vehicle, one of the vehicles, or in the house. Missy, thanks for being a member for 10 months. Thank you all for being here. Please like and share so that others know we are live right now. Maybe people don't know that I'm live on a Friday right now and they want to come join us and join the conversation. If you want to share it on X as well, or Facebook, or wherever you share it, that would be great too. So here they say swabs times 6. Vacuum filters. This is trace vacuum filters. I think it's ammunition. Live round glove box. Tire from trunk. Lincoln emblem from the trunk. Okay. Lincoln emblem from the trunk. Lincoln emblem from glove box. Why is the Lincoln emblem out? I don't know. Yeah? Oh my. And then a white rope, black netting, a white towel, a red hoodie, a blue jacket, trash bag. Did he go to Walmart? Napkins. This also says latex glove in the front passenger seat. These napkins, so many napkins around, but okay. Barbara, no, the autopsy report is not here. Maddie's a minor, so technically they shouldn't even be releasing her cause of death. They haven't officially released that. In fact, the district attorney and the police chief said they're not going to release that due to laws in Florida and due to Maddie being a minor. But somehow there's a rumor going around how she died. We're going to leave it at that for now until we have any confirmation, which they actually said they're not going to give us confirmation. So I'll just leave it. I'll just pause there. Okay, so now that was page 205 and 207. So now we're going to go to page 209. So here, this I would assume now is in one of the rooms in the house. So they say, because they don't really say it here, and this is location where. So they redact this, you see? A Sig Sauer P365 9mm pistol, a magazine from the pistol, 13 9mm live rounds from the pistol, one magazine in bag on table, 12 9mm live rounds from magazine in bag on table, one holster, one red t-shirt, one dresser, room number 4. Now, I see people are still emailing me about these room numbers because there was apparently a chrome number 4 on the door, and we've discussed this now in part 2, and I'm going to do it again now quickly in part 3, that somebody helped me clear that up a little bit by saying that accommodation close to Disney, which is actually where Jenn Soto worked and Stephan Sterns previously worked, on my word, would have these types of numbers on the doors, especially if someone was renting out the rooms in the home and maybe like an Airbnb or something, which Jenn Soto was probably doing because they were roommates in the house, okay? Hello to Joseph Jackalone. He's a retired NYPD sergeant. We call him the Sarge. And he says that bold and snarky is his spirit animal. Bold and snarky is one of our grizzlies here, right? So welcome to Joe Jackalone. It's always great to have you here in chat with us. If you haven't checked out Joe's channel, go check it out. You can literally click on his name and it should take you there. Or you could see him on my show. All the links are there as well. You could Google him, whatever it is, or type his name into the YouTube search bar. Make sure you do that later and check out his latest live streams and episodes. We love roll call in the morning, right? Okay, that was big time promo for Joe Jackalone, but we love it over there. Okay, so here we go. Thank you for being here. Let us know if you have any thoughts. Now, Peggy says, there is that red t-shirt. Good spotting, because I was like, a red t-shirt? A red t-shirt, one dresser, room number 4. So remember, why are we talking about the red t-shirt? It's because on surveillance, he was wearing a red t-shirt in the morning. And by the time it was a little bit later in the morning, like even at the vape shop, he changed. He was in a blue t-shirt. But he told the police he hadn't changed in 24 hours. You know, by the time he saw them the next day, he's like, haven't even changed, haven't eaten, haven't showered, like, you know, because he's always just feeling so sorry for himself. This freaking Stephan Michael Sterns. Okay, and we do not have a drop of any sympathy, empathy ever for him. In fact, we have pure rage and lots of snark. Try to hold ourselves back over here. So they say one white flat sheet from the closet, one white flat sheet from the bed, one white pillowcase from the bed, a white fitted sheet from the bed, a pair of black boots from room number 4, and one grey comforter from the downstairs bedroom. Now, the reason they're also looking at all the bedding is because of the CSAM material on his phone, and they said they were matching up clothing and bedding and things found on his phone. Now, I really worry about that as well, because I would highly suspect that he filmed things that night. That night, you know what I mean? The 25th going to the 26th. And Maddie died sometime in the early morning hours. Yeah, based on them going in there and being like, damn, we got to match this and this and this and this in the room. I'm sure it comes from other previous times as well, which they did look into. I'm just like, oh man. And he was on Telegram late at night as well. Remember that? Okay, so that was page 209. Now we're going to go to page 211, which is this next one here. Okay, and this is evidence also from the house. Again, a white flat sheet from the downstairs bedroom, a white fitted sheet from the downstairs bedroom, one orange, oh no, trigger warning everybody, in room number 4, the one where Jenn is just fine, sending her daughter, just like, you two go to sleep now. I need a good night of rest. Oh dear. That's way too much trust. If she really had no idea, which is difficult to think of. But if Jenn really had no idea and just truly trusted Stephan Sterns with her daughter, number one, don't. That would be the lesson in this case, don't. But two, also like, damn, what was in that room? Right? What was in the room? An orange bottle of masturbation cream from the backpack bed. It says bed. Backpack bed number 4. Bedroom number 4. Okay then. Right. 3 prescription. He came prepared for his little sleepover that night. Gross. No. Okay, so 3 prescription medication belonging to. That's redacted. Downstairs bed. 1 pink strawberry snuggle. 1 pair of black underwear. 1 pair of black shorts. Now, whose black shorts are those? Because Jenn Soto and Stephan Sterns were insisting that Maddie was last seen wearing black shorts. Yep, black shorts is what it was, even though yesterday the PE teacher in the police interview said, well, she wore that all the time. She always wore black shorts and a green hoodie. Like, we know of wearing that in the white Crocs, right? So it was easy to say that outfit because she wore it a lot. But anyway, there it says 1 pair of black shorts, 1 fitted cat sheet. I had to see because here someone's writing it and later they type it out. And I'm like, cat sheet? A cat sheet. Okay, 1 fitted cat sheet. Boxes from the laundry. Oh, no. Okay, 1 it could be from roommates. I don't know. Basket, but I think this is all in room number 4. Basket, 1 composition notebook. A charcoal grey blanket. A grey blanket. 1 white purple flat sheet. 1 mattress protector. 1 white or brown blanket. 1 pink dinosaur blanket. 1 purple comforter. A grey t-shirt from the hamper. 1 flat cat sheet, 1 blue underwear, 1 phone tripod. Yeah, you heard that right. This room has got masturbation cream and a phone tripod. 1 fitted white or purple sheet, 1 comforter in bedroom number 3, and 1 HP desktop tower. See why I thought tower earlier. Okay, so we've read that. Now we're going to go now to page... this is we did 211, yes, so page 215, okay, 215. Evidence from the vehicle. Is it? Evidence 215 and 216. I just want to see the other page also like that. Yeah. Okay, so they say driver door, set of swabs from the front driver door compartment. So I think I just wanted to show you this. Let me just see, did I star that? Yes, I did. What do I want to show you here? There's something I want you to see here. Lots of swab. I think I was trying to tell you here. This is important to show you because, they checked everything. Obviously they did. I'm just saying this investigation has been really excellent, right? Okay. Thank you for all your comments. I could see all the comments flying and we're pretty much on the same page of like, what? Oh, yes. Yeah, Nature Girl says cat sheet equals sheet with cats on it. That's what I figured. Like, because they say like dinosaur blanket. Now, we wouldn't assume that's a blanket for a dinosaur. It's a blanket with dinosaurs on it, right? So a cat sheet, I think, would be a sheet with cats on it. I agree. Tiff Knox says, yeah, for F's sakes, the tripod. I know, a tripod. Ooh, that's terrible. Okay, so trace vacuum filters from the Lincoln and the 9mm Luger live round from the glove box. Blue latex gloves from the bottom compartment of the center console. Knit gloves from the bottom compartment of the center console. See, the latex gloves are kind of in there as well, which is a bit odd. But anyway, a pocket knife from the top compartment of the center console. Napkins, so many napkins from the front passenger seat. Is that for all these Danish pastry adventures? Wow. So, blue latex gloves from the passenger door. And a towel from the rear passenger door. A towel, a rope, netting, all of that, right? Okay. So I don't know how to say your name. Don't worry, we're on the same page. We're all like, what the hell? With this case, it's absolutely upsetting, right? So black netting from the trunk as well. This is what we saw before on that handwritten list. So now it says the rest from page 216 all the way to 341 is redacted pages and search warrants. So it's them applying for search warrants. You can see here they say latent lift cars from the Nissan Sentra, which is Jenn Soto's car, one trunk mat, a pillowcase, hair from under the front passenger seat, and swabs. So they're just checking that vehicle as well. So now you can see it's like lots of redacted pages, lots of applying for search warrants. So now we're going to skip to page 341. All right. On page 341, we're going to talk about Stephan Sterns' Google Drive. The point of it is just to say this dumbass did not only save things on his phone, but he also had a Google Drive. And I'm sure many apps and many things where he saved all his terrible content, the CSAM, horrible stuff. Okay, so yeah, I went to page 341 because this is the same narrative as we've gone over many, many times. You know, like the dropping off at school and that whole BS story, right? Okay, so let's just quickly go from here. Detective Tagler confronted Stephan about his locations during the interview, but Stephan would provide answers that did not match up with his vehicle location. We actually heard that. If you haven't heard the audio police interview of Stephan Sterns, you got to go listen to it. It's on the playlist as well. So he provided consent to search his phone. However, he stated he had accidentally performed a factory reset on his phone on 2/26 of 2024. Detective Tagler asked Stephan a second time if he consented to the download of his phone, and he agreed and provided his passcode. Detective Tagler then proceeded to the security gate at redacted to review video. Upon reviewing the security video, Detective Tagler observed Stephan's vehicle exiting the complex with a female wearing a green sweater in the front passenger seat. The female was slumped over to her left, which is an abnormal way for a person to be seated in a vehicle. At that point, Detective Tagler decided to secure the residence and they put crime scene tape all around that residence, right? We've seen those pictures as well. And for a search warrant, the Kissimmee Police Department was notified and asked to assist with the case. Detective Smallwood responded to assist the Orange County in the search. The decision was made to have patrol officers from the Kissimmee Police Department secure the location for the search warrant to be executed on 2/28/2024. If you're only joining now, we're going through this massive document. I hope you'll stay or watch the replay later because there's a lot of information, coming up as well. We're going through it from the top to the bottom. That's what we did in part 1, part 2. Now we're on part 3. I'm saving you lots of time, of course, by making notes and making sure that we go to the pages with the most information so that we learn new things every episode. So we are going to hear from Maddie Soto's mathematics teacher, science teacher in these police interviews that we'll read today. And then also about Stephan Sterns accidentally factory resetting his phone twice and things like that. Forrest Nelson, it's so great to see you in chat. You said thanks for helping us through these pages of aggravation. So tough to take. It's very difficult, right? So now they say on February 28th, I Detective Mark Morris was called and asked to respond to the residents to assist Orange County in executing the search warrant for their missing persons case. Upon my arrival, I contacted the Orange County deputies, who were waiting for their forensics unit to arrive to execute the search warrant. While Orange County was serving a search warrant on the premises, a subsequent search warrant was executed on Stephan's cellular phone. Upon reviewing the contents of Stephan's phone, it was discovered several images were saved in a Google Drive. This guy thought he was so smart to factory reset, but he's like, ooh, save on a Google Drive because he doesn't want to lose the content, you know what I mean? Terrible. Several images and videos were located which depicted an apparent child with, I'm not going to read all that out, her body, the focal point of the pictures and videos. There were also pictures and videos depicting all kinds of other things. The child being abused, sexually abused. The child was later identified as redacted, whose birth date is. During this time, it was also discovered Stephan did not drop Maddie off at school, as he previously stated, based upon the contents of Stephan's Google Drive and the suspicious nature of her going missing. It was decided that I become the lead investigator from the Kissimmee Police Department. Corporal Ilgen and I responded to the Orange County Sheriff's Office, where deputies had already arranged for Jenn and Stephan to be transported there for a press conference. I was shown the contents of Stephan's Google Drive, where one folder that appeared dedicated to, and that's redacted, and I can only assume dedicated to Madeline, contained, or unless it says dedicated to CSAM, I don't know, but they've redacted that, right? Contained over 1,700 files. To me, plausibly, the redacted part there is Maddie's name. Dedicated, a file. Like imagine if you made a file called Maddie, and there's over 1,700 files in there. A majority of these photographs and videos showed her in different, I would say abuse positions, not sexual positions. Okay, based on these images, Orange County detectives began to author an arrest warrant for Stephan. Due to the fact that most of these images appear to have occurred at the residence of, where they were, Jenn Soto's home, a probable cause was provided to Detective Moore of the Kissimmee Police Department. Detective Moore wrote the arrest warrant charging Stephan with sexual battery and possession of, now there they say CP, CSAM. CSAM would be the updated word. While the arrest warrant is being written and obtained by Detective Moore, at approximately 16:45 hours are contacted, redacted in a conference room at the sheriff's office. They were asked questions about Maddie being missing and the dynamics of the household. She stated that her and Stephan had been dating, so this is now asking Jenn questions, right? So, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so she stated her and Stephan had been dating on and off for approximately 7 years. Stephan had moved out of the home in the later part of 2023, November, December. As we read yesterday, Maddie felt happy about that. Her schoolwork improved. She was nominated as Student of the Week on February 16th. She quit her medication herself on February 14th, like bragging to all her friends about it, like, I feel so much better, so much energy. And even though she was very close to Stephan, she always told her friends that, and she was always texting him and all of that. One would wonder if it's not him always texting her. Him being an absolute coercive control parasite, freaking predator, groomer, abuser, all the things, okay? So because she said that she was like, oh my word, she's so happy when he moved out. Yeah. So I don't think she was happy to see him, which he claimed. She was so happy that I was coming to visit. I don't think so. No, not at all. Okay. So they broke up. He moved out in November or December of 2023. She stated that while they were together, they would either all sleep in the same bed. If somebody needs to know this, that's not normal. Okay, don't do that. If your daughter is struggling, because remember, Maddie's grandmother said that Maddie really struggled to fall asleep alone, that she was scared of the dark. Probably scared of Stephan Sterns and all the things he would do. But okay, let's say if she was scared of the dark, didn't want to, had like separation anxiety at night. Yeah, okay, then be a parent, be the mother. That's one thing. To have the boyfriend in the bed as well? Are you insane? No. That's never okay. Okay, so they say, damn, and at her age, I mean, she just turned 13. No. And with that guy, no. Especially in hindsight, we can learn from this, right? Rather be safe than sorry. So they say they would either all fall asleep in the same bed or redacted would sleep with her when Stephan was not there. When asked if it was normal that Stephan and Maddie were to sleep together with her being there, she said yes. She stated if she needed a good night's sleep, now we're going to get mad again. We're going to get so mad again. Because it is upsetting. It is not protective. She stated that if she needed a good night's sleep due to her anxiety, she would ask them to sleep in a different bedroom. Orange County detectives had previously shown Jenn photographs of Stephan's penis for identification purposes. Jenn did not want to believe that Maddie and Stephan were engaged in sexual activity. Now again, let me rephrase that. Jenn did not want to believe that Stephan was abusing her daughter. Because the way they phrase it, I wonder how she took it. You know, if she's like, what? They wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't. It's not they doing it. Your ex-boyfriend was abusing your daughter for years. If you didn't know, I'm just saying, earth to Jenn right there. You know what I mean? Like, I just find the wording is important, especially for us to discuss. To say she wouldn't believe that they were engaged in sexual activity. Yeah, that he was abusing her, sexually abusing Madeline. Jenn asked to see the image of Stephan and Maddie. I pulled out a printed picture from Stephan's Google Drive that showed, redacted, with Stephan's penis in her mouth, which many times later in the document it says she was sleeping when he was doing that and taking those pictures, by the way. Okay, Jenn stated she didn't recognize anything in the picture. So when she said, show me proof, show me a picture, they pull out a picture and say, look at this. And then Jenn Soto says, nah, I don't recognize anything in the picture. As if she was in denial, they say. However, she became visibly upset. I asked, redacted, so Jenn, additional questions unrelated to this particular case. I excused myself and told her I was going to speak with Stephan. Wow. Okay. So yeah. So when shown the actual evidence of like, look at this, you see this right here? Yeah. She's like, I don't recognize any of that. But before, she could recognize Stephan's hand and she could recognize his penis. Now she was like, no, I don't know what that is. Which it could be in that moment, like shock and just like can't accept if she really didn't know all those years. Which is why one has to be very, very careful. I just want to see what page we're on here. 342. Jenn in denial. Stephan says, yeah, okay. Wait. Okay. I contacted Stephan in an interview room at the sheriff's office. Stephan was asleep when I entered the room. Because he's just so tired. He just didn't sleep. Okay, Stephan was asleep when I entered the room, along with Corporal Ilgen. After introducing ourselves, I explained the reason why we were there speaking with him. I read Stephan his Miranda warnings, which we waived, and I guess he waived, and agreed to speak with us. Stephan stated that he had known Jenn for several years, and they dated for most of that time. Yesterday, we heard about an ex-girlfriend, someone he cheated on Jenn with, when he said, I'm separated from my girlfriend. And he told this ex-girlfriend, but I sometimes still sleep over at the house and I sleep in the bed with her daughter. And sometimes I get a hard on and then I have to turn around in the bed. And she was like, yeah, we're breaking up. So if you missed that, everything's timestamped for you, by the way. All these key moments are timestamped for you. If you don't know what that means, go to the pinned comments or the description box or just hover over the video and you'll find those key moments that I manually make for you. Okay, so you don't miss a thing. So yeah, Stephan, they dated most of the time, except when he was cheating and abusing her daughter. Okay, I asked Stephan what the sleeping arrangements were within the home. Stephan stated that Redacted typically sleeps with Redacted in Redacted's bed. So I would assume Stephan stated that Maddie typically sleeps with Jenn or him or her, all of them in the bed, right? Stephan stated Redacted wanted them all to sleep in the same bed when he returned from being away for several months. Who is that name? It's a longish Redacted name, so I would assume he's now blaming Madeline. Another victim blamer. These perps all do it. They all do it. Beyond someone's death, they still humiliate them. So saying, Stephan stated, I'm going to assume Madeline always needed human contact when going to sleep. So he says, Stephan stated Madeline wanted them all to sleep in the same bed when he returned from being away for several months. Several months? They broke up in December of 2023. She was happy about it, okay? It's 2 months if you really think about it like that. Okay, maybe, let's say the whole of December, the whole of January, and now he's back at the end of Feb. And Jenn says he was there 2 to 3 times in that time. Yeah, it's not several months. This freaking liar. Stephan stated that Maddie always needed human contact when going to sleep. Stephan referred to it as snuggling. I'm going to refer to it as grooming, abuse, sexual abuse, inappropriate behavior, all of that. Death penalty. As the interview went on, I asked Stephan if Redacted has ever been sexually active with anyone in the past. I'd assume they ask about Maddie. And what does he do? He answers. Stephan stated there was an incident when she was much younger. He's gonna humiliate her more. Stephan stated that Maddie did something with a phone or camera, but she wasn't scolded for it. Excuse me, now you're blaming Maddie for doing something with a phone or camera, but she wasn't scolded for it. Oh, interesting. Stephan said that she was very young when this happened. Now, what does that mean? When he says she wasn't scolded for it, by who? And did that person then perhaps know about content on his phone? I don't know, Ryan. Jeanette said Jenn became upset when she saw the pics because she thought they were gone. She didn't think the police would find them. Ooh, that's another whole angle at that, right? Oh my word. Yeah, and Mao says he just said that to cover those pics. Yeah, to cover his own ass. In case they find something from way back when, because he was so smart, he factory reset his phone twice. Oh my word. Okay, but can you believe how beyond her death, after leaving her out there with some vegetation piled on her, on Hickory Tree Road, out in nature, in the countryside, just leaving her body there. Oh no, after abusing her for years, he's still gonna say, ooh, she did something very naughty with her phone when she was very young. But she didn't get scolded for it. Wow. Stephan said she was very young when this happened. I asked Stephan if he provided Orange County deputies consent to search through his phone, and he stated yes. I asked Stephan if he had a Google account, and he stated he did. When I asked Stephan if he saved pictures to that account, he said sometimes. Stephan stated he did have pictures of him and redacted saved to that account. When I asked Stephan about all the pictures he had saved, Stephan then asked if he should be talking to a lawyer. Oh, he's reading the room in that moment. Shortly after that, Stephan requested an attorney. Stephan was arrested for sexual battery, familial custodial authority, when the victim was under 12 years old and possession of CSAM. A search warrant was obtained to collect DNA from Stephan. This warrant was executed by the Orange County Detectives and Forensic Unit, and they actually had to do the buccal swab and a penis swab. Oh, no. Never. No, I don't want to hear any more about his you-know-what. In this document, they say that a lot. Kidada Smith, welcome. Super supporter, welcome to Grizzly Super supporter. Yeah, you guys are saying victim blaming. Can you believe it? Pauline says victim blaming. He's victim blaming. Okay, so that was page, 342. Oh, yeah, 340. Here we go. We're going to get more mad. Deep breaths, trigger warning. Okay, more victim blaming. The file name, there's a name, okay, of something they found there. They say description, a video file depicting a prepubescent female resembling, redacted, who would have been 8 years and 4 months old. Okay? She is laying next to Stephan in a bed. Now listen carefully how these groomers operate. Okay? And he's controlling her here. Says like this. She's laying next to Stephan in a bed watching cartoons on the television. Stephan is asking her to put his penis in her mouth for 3 seconds as he counts. So he's like, come on, just quickly, just 1, 2, 3. It's like a game. She's a kid. Stephan states redacted would not be able to play with the phone unless she did it. And there it is. It's that whole reward-based disgusting game of like, if you do it and it's only 3 seconds, then you get to play with the phone. If you don't do it, no phone for you. That's his discipline. Remember, as her stepdad. Sure. But that is important to note how these groomers operate. If this, then that. If not, then you're not getting that. It's terrible. So it would be important, I guess, to teach children that. I don't know which words to recommend. I'm just saying about those types of tactics. My goodness. So if somebody's saying if you do this, then you get to do that. Maybe say you could talk to me about it. Tell me if someone does that, okay? I don't accept it. Whether it's a candy or a PlayStation game or a phone or something that they want, right? Okay, so we're going now to page 362. Oh, by the way, wait. Trigger warning. This is very bad. I'm going to quickly, you probably saw some of it already, but you see here, there's terrible CSAM being described here. What I want you to take note of quickly is just, while she appears to be sleeping, while she appears to be sleeping, while she appears to be sleeping, while she's underneath a blanket. All of them say that, which is why I still speculate. Did he drug her? Did he roofie her? Did he do that and then knock her out and then do the stuff, you know what I mean? And the reason I say that is also because she stopped taking her medication on February 14th, and by February 26th, he murdered her. I wonder if her friend said she became very moody, very snappy, very snappy is how they said it. Okay, well, if so, imagine if he wanted to do his usual and she maybe, I'm speculating, pretended to take the medication, like, sure. Maybe she had a hunch that something is not right. Maybe she had a gut instinct, And it's like, okay, as Jenn Soto said, when she came back from her birthday party, they went upstairs. Maybe for a bit there, Maddie was smart and played along. Like, let's see what happens here because I have a gut instinct that something's going on. And then got very upset and said, I'm going to tell on you. And maybe that's why he murdered her. You know what I mean? Because that's all. Like, while she's sleeping, while she was sleeping, while she appears to, they say while she appears to be sleeping. Heather Lopez says, I'm going to be sick. This man needs the death penalty for real. And the state is seeking it, and we understand, right? Janet says, sleeping or drugged, right? I do wonder about that. I do wonder. Carla says, so he positively reinforced her for allowing him to abuse her. I'm so sick. Yes. He positively reinforced her, yeah. Like, if you give me this and it's just, you'll, they trivialize it. They'll say, it's just 3 seconds. 3 seconds. Come on, you could do it. Oh, no. And basically, I just want to show you they swabbed everything. They checked and swabbed and all of that, right? So you could see that all the buccal swabs and the penile swabs and the DNA cards and the fingernail clippings and all of that. It always reminds me of Chris Watts. Remember we saw those photos of him, like the hands and everything. Yeah, it's all of that. All of that. Okay. Peggy says, and you wonder why Maddie was mad at her mom all the time. Right? You could speculate quite a bit there, but even just for like, hello, can you protect me, would be one reason. Right? But it just sounds like the way that Maddie was describing her mom to her friends, it sounded like Jenn was quite mean to her. I don't know that. It's just based on what the friends said that Maddie said, right? That Jenn was threatening to disown her at age 18 or 19. I mean, that's not nice. Crystal Ann, thanks for being a member for 13 months. Okay, now we're going to go to page 430, which actually talks about black shorts in a car. Let's see. Yeah. So it's this evidence that they've logged here. And so the description is a purple Apple iPhone with clear case with cherry design, a black Samsung phone, I guess that would be his, right? And then one female black short with white stripe and one pink female undergarment. This is all now, it says passenger seat, passenger floor. So I assume this whole thing here is about the car and it's about the Lincoln emblem. So his car. So when it says one female black short with white stripe and one pink female undergarment, was that hers? The one they said she was wearing that day? Last seen wearing black shorts. Oh, my word. Okay. So that's page 430. Now we're going to go to page 446. Oh, yeah. To show you. This is now a huge chunk of the document. Look. So many pages tracking Stephan Sterns' every move, which we'll see a lot of this. I don't know if they'll stream this trial based on the nature of the charges. You never know, though. It's Florida. You never know. But anyway, this is, the cell phone mapping, which we see often in trials of like Kevin Clark, Letitia Stark trial. Yeah, that kind of stuff, like timeline guy. Like, let's see that timeline. Where was he, exactly when and how and who, and the triangulation and all of that stuff, right? So now we're going to go. You see now, there's so many pages of this. Guess what we're skipping to now? Page 872. So we're almost through the document. Now, here they talk about why Stephan Sterns moved out, because we all wonder why. Okay, so we're going to go over that now. So there's 896 pages, okay? Now we're on 872. So to go here, Jenn stated, I guess, the last time that she saw, so it says interview number 1, 2/27 of 2024 at 11:16 hours. Redacted stated the last time she saw Maddie was on the night of Sunday, February 25th at approximately 2300 hours. So we can safely assume that that's her mother saying that, because that's what she said, right? At approximately 2300 hours inside of the home when she was going to bed. At this time, Jenn sent Maddie and Stephan up to a guest bedroom. Why? Right after her birthday party? All three were originally going to sleep in Jenn's bed. However, Jenn stated she needed to get some rest due to her new job making her very tired. She would sleep better alone, and Stephan was going to get Maddie ready for school in the morning anyway? That doesn't sound normal. Just based on everything we know that normally Jenn was the one to take her to school always. Okay, so Stephan no longer lives in the home with Jenn and Maddie, as he moved out in December of 2023. However, he's come to visit 2 or 3 times since then. Why? When Stephan visits the home, he will sleep in the guest room upstairs, the one with the tripod and the masturbation cream, allegedly. Actually, I think there was a tripod downstairs as well. I don't know if there's multiple tripods. I've just seen a tripod in the makeshift bedroom in the living area as well. Horrible stuff, but he would sleep there. So when he came to visit, he would sleep in the guest bedroom upstairs while Jenn and Maddie slept together downstairs. The reason Stephan moved out of the home is because he was offered a job by his father. However, the job fell through and he's trying to move back. Oh my word. His dad was like, listen, son, I'm going to hire you. I'll do you a favor. Actually, no. The job fell through? Why? And yet the dad was there coming to his rescue, also checking into a hotel on February 27th. Remember that? 27th, 28th, we looked at that yesterday. It was Jenn, Stephan, and Stephan's dad. So, 37-year-old baby boy here was like, I don't know, Dad, can you give me a job? He's like, okay, actually, no. You're fired, son. He's like, can I move back in with you? To Jenn. Right. Okay, so that is why they say Jenn says he moved out of the home because he was offered a job by his father. However, the job fell through and he's trying to move back. Typically, when Stephan visits, he'll stay for a few days. However, this time he planned to stay for a week. This guy was only there for one night. Although they both lie. They say, look there. They say Stephan either arrived on Saturday, February 24th, or the morning of Sunday, February 25th. However, Jenn does not remember when. And you know what? His story is exactly the same. Like, I think I arrived on Saturday night or Sunday morning. Can't quite remember. But then we actually heard the audio of police interviews, and we've seen other police interviews where they say he arrived on Sunday night. Remember? That he drove through and arrived after Maddie's birthday party, that Maddie's aunt dropped her off at the house, and shortly after that, Stephan Sterns arrived. Remember that? Why are they both lying about this whole Saturday or Sunday thing? I don't get it. Why? Well, we could guess why, but you know. Ooh, yeah. Schooly mom says the red flag there is what was going on, that Jenn could not get rest if they slept there. I don't know. Yeah, there's a lot of scary thoughts, right? Heather Lopez says, I'm worried about him having separate trials. Won't CSAM be proof of the reason for the unaliving? I would think they would want to have them together. Nah, if they're doing it separate like that, I think they have more than enough. And they're seeking the death penalty in the murder one. So I think, especially based on the surveillance footage and him actually carrying her body around and lying, all of that. I think they've got so much. Obviously, we as the public, we don't even have the half of it, you know. So, in case you didn't know that, former law enforcement, retired law enforcement, usually in the chat, like Lieutenant Peter Pranzo and Joe Jackalone will say, maybe the public knows like 10% of what's going on in the case. Once we get the probable cause and lots of info like this, maybe 50. Maybe 50%. And then Peter Tragos, lawyer you know, also said, yeah, maybe like 50% of what's really going on before a trial, right? Okay. So, the Stephan moving out. And it's like, but he's trying to move back in. Boundaries. How about no? How about no? Anyway, moving on. That's a different argument. Typically, you'll stay for a few days. However, this time he planned to stay for a week. Wow, things escalated quickly, didn't it? I think that Madeline kicked back. She fought back. She was like, hell no, no more of this. I'm 13 now, type thing. Because she was telling her friends that life's going to change when she's 13, you see. Shame, man. I wish she could have hoofed him and exposed him. You know, this terrible person. And I think she would have, which is probably his motive for murder, right? Right? He's going to be majorly exposed to many people. Okay. On Monday, the Monday morning, on the morning of February 26th of 2024, Jenn was woken up by Stephan taking their dog for a walk at approximately 7 to 8 in the morning. Jenn further explained she did not actually hear Maddie getting ready in the morning specifically, as there are also 2 roommates in the home. She fell back asleep shortly after being woken up. At approximately 9 o'clock, she woke up again, and Stephan had not yet returned home after taking Maddie to school. She left for an appointment at approximately 9. Informed her that he had just returned home from completing some errands. Ooh, code words or what? I'm just speculating. I have completed some errands. Stephan informed her that he originally planned to take Maddie to a nearby McDonald's for breakfast. However, Maddie did not wish to go, so he took her directly to school. Stephan also informed Jenn he attempted to go to a smoke shop to get e-cigarette supplies. We heard about the surveillance footage after dropping Maddie off. However, the shop was closed. He then returned to the home at approximately 10 o'clock in the morning and spent some time there before going back out to the vape shop. At that point, apparently with Maddie's body in the trunk. Yeah. Okay, I just quickly want to see something. We're on page 872. Yeah, so she returned, Jenn returned to the home at approximately 11:15. At that time, Stephan had returned to the home. Afterward, Jenn waited at the home until 2:30 p.m., at which time she left to pick Maddie up at school, which is very early as well. He's taking her to school very early, and she's fetching her from school super early because she's coming out normally at 4:10 or something, right? So anyway, she leaves at 2:30, even though they're like 10 minutes away, but okay. 2:30, at which time she left to pick Maddie up at school. At approximately 4 p.m., she waited approximately 10 minutes. Like, what's she doing between 2:30 and 4? Sitting in the car at the front of the line, being like, yep, I'm here. See, everyone? I'm here. I'm speculating. But I'm here, picking up my daughter. Yeah. Does she always go that early? I don't know. So approximately for 10 minutes to come out. However, she did not come out. She did not remember if she told her that she was going to pick her up that day, so she drove to her mother's office. Why doesn't she just call the mother's office while she's going into the school, being like, oh my word, I can't find her. Why is she not coming out? She's normally the first one out. What is going on? She's driving around, not phoning. She's just like, I'll quickly go to the office, all right? To see if Maddie walked there. She sometimes will after school. If, I guess, her granny's at work, right? Maddie's grandma, Jen's mother. She was informed that she was not there, so then she looked for Maddie in the area, but she couldn't see her. Why did she not go into the school? She's like, oh no, it was closed. Barge in the doors? Phone someone? She's like, I emailed the teachers. Emailed? You emailed? Oh my word, okay. She then called Maddie's best friend to ask her where she was, but she informed her that she didn't come to school that day. She then reached Redacted's friends and reached out to their friends and teachers to see if anybody saw her at school today, and she is informed that Maddie was absent the whole day. At this point, she realized something was amiss, and then she called 911, which she didn't. It was her mother that called 911 twice, and then I think her sister that called the third time. Jenn was in the background. She didn't actually make those calls herself. Anyway, on a typical morning, Jenn will take Maddie to school no later than 8:50 hours. Maddie and Stephan have been, Jenn and Stephan have been together on and off for 7 years. Thus, Stephan has taken Maddie to school in the past, although that responsibility typically belongs to Jenn. Stephan has taken her to school 1 or 2 times in the past, in all those years, 7 years of dating on and off. Mostly on. He took her to school 1 or 2 times. Maddie's friends said they never saw him. They never saw him, taking her to school. Okay. When Stephan takes Maddie to school, she asks that he does not drive her all the way to school, but rather she prefers to be dropped off at a distance from the school so she can walk up. The reason for this is that she thinks Stephan's vehicle, that's his dad's vehicle, a 2010 Lincoln MKZ, is unattractive. No, I think that would be Stephan. That's unattractive. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay, because of this, Stephan agrees to drop Maddie near a church. We've heard about that church many times. Peace United Church, shame. The poor church, everyone's like mentioning this poor church now. But like, okay, yeah, Stephan says he dropped her off there, which is approximately a 5-minute walk away from school. She has no history of running away from home or leaving the home when she is angry. A little bit revealing. Therefore, she does not recall any arguments occurring which may have caused Maddie to wish to run away. Sunday, February 25th, was Maddie's birthday party. Now here comes a lie, based on what Maddie's best friend and other friends said. They said Maddie was upset at the party. Not many people showed up. She said she advertised it really well, and she was really disappointed. She thought more people would come to the party. More people would bring gifts as well, because she said even the ones that came, they didn't really bring the gifts. Perfectly understandable for a 13-year-old. She just turned 13 to be upset about that, right? And she said, Maddie told her friend that her mother didn't give her money that year. She normally gave her money for her birthday, and she didn't give her money or give her enough money. From what I remember, didn't give her. From what I read there yesterday, it was like didn't give her a birthday gift, is what I would say there. So she was like really hoping that her birthday party at her grandmother's house would kind of, compensate for the lack of love in her own home. I'm speculating again, but from her mother and definitely from Stephan Sterns. Her birthday was on the Thursday, right? The 22nd of Feb. The 25th was a Sunday, where she had a birthday party at her grandmother's house. I've seen previous photos from previous birthdays, which looks similar theme, different colors, but I think the grandmother was the one to spoil her for her birthday. I don't know if Jenn ever did. I don't know. But anyway, here's a red flag, if there aren't enough already. February 25th, Sunday, was Maddie's birthday party, where she had a good time and she expressed she was happy. Liar. the last time that Maddie was in trouble was weeks prior to this incident, but Jenn does not remember the exact reason why. Oh, really? Maddie told her friends that Jenn got upset with her when she didn't clean up like she was supposed to, and because she was forgetful. Okay, so I really like that we got to see the friends' interviews as well, because that gives us a whole another layer of insight here. So then, I mean, to say that she had such a great time, she was so happy with her gifts, you know, that's what we last talked about. But she wasn't. Her friend said she wasn't. She was extremely disappointed with her gifts, with who showed up, and like what's going on, right? So that's another red flag here. Anyway, so they say she doesn't remember the exact reason why she was in trouble. When redacted, so I guess Jenn went through Maddie's phone, she found text stating that when she turned, see here, they say 18, she was going to leave. That redacted was acting crazy, and that redacted was going to send her to her father's home. So let's try to fill in the blanks there. I think it says she found text stating that when she turned 18, she was going to leave, that Jenn was acting crazy, and that Jenn was going to send Maddie to her father's home, her biological father. Maddie's biological father, redacted, we've seen him before. He did an interview before, right? He's on Facebook. He's out there. Yes, we've seen an interview of him. I remember now. It's on the playlist. Okay, so media did interview him. Shame, man. Oh, man, that was so heartbreaking. If you didn't see it, go check it out. It's on the playlist for you. So his name is Tyler, right? Biological father. And although the two communicate sometimes by phone, they do not frequently see each other, and he's not very involved in her life. She says she's diagnosed with attention deficit, so ADHD, and she's known to forget things frequently. On the morning of February 26th, she did not have a phone with her. She forgot it at home that day. You know who else forgot their phone? Oh, wow, Stephan! Despite this, Maddie functions at the level of a normal 13-year-old child. She has not complained about anything at school, but Jenn is aware that she's always behind on her schoolwork. She does not currently have a boyfriend. Now listen to this. However, Jenn was informed by Stephan that Maddie says she has a crush on a boy in her class named. That's another one. Imagine if Stephan Sterns murdered her out of jealousy, like a jealous rage or some crap like that. Who knows with this kind of guy, right? He's super controlling and possessive. I think he thought he owned her. And she was, as her friend said, texting a boy. She had a crush on a boy. The boy was not responding, but she really liked this boy at school. And maybe Maddie said, I'm 13 now, and I have a crush on a boy at school. Or like, I have a boyfriend, or whatever it is. You know what I mean? Just like, get away from me. Could see that happening. Michelle's beauty channel said, I sent you a very important email with a video of interviews with Stephan. I've already seen it. Thank you so much. And we've summarized it before. It's on the playlist as well, if you guys didn't see that. We bring the bullet points, right? I go out into the field, listen to all sorts of channels, and then I bring back the bullet points. So thank you so much for your sticker. Really appreciate it. Marlo C says, I think she was drugged while in the car, hence limp body in hotel lot. No rigor set in for hours while he was driving around with her. So normally rigor mortis would appear approximately 2 hours after death in the muscles of the face, which progresses to the limbs over the next few hours, completing in about 6 to 8 hours after death. So it is possible that she was deceased already then and not just drugged, because it is possible that she may have been drugged at the time. But the police said that they believe she was deceased in that vehicle when they were seen on surveillance at 7:35. And I think it's because, trigger warning, she was slumped over to her left, her mouth wide open, and clearly they could probably see she's not breathing at all. I do not know if her eyes were open or closed or what, but like not breathing. They were like, she was deceased in that vehicle. That's what they believe. That's what the police told us, right? So it would also be possible that her body was still limp at the time, because it would take 6 to 8 hours for rigor mortis to set in. And the police said that they believe she was murdered in the early morning hours of February 26th, which is pretty scary, because at 7:35 already in the morning, the police believe she was deceased in the vehicle. He was on Telegram, I think it was just before midnight, doing who knows what. And maybe his usual was while she's sleeping, as we saw from some of the CSAM description, you know, like 3, 4 in the morning, he's doing something, trying to do something. And maybe this time she's like, oh, hell no. Especially because she told a friend she stopped taking her medication on Valentine's Day, February 14th. Okay, so I just want to quickly see, we're on page 873. Yeah. Okay, so we're continuing here. She does not feel she'd run away. Wait. Yeah. Jenn does not feel Maddie would run away and express that she believes that Maddie was involuntarily taken. Yeah, okay, give a narrative. We've seen that before. I still think of Trezell and Jacqueline West. I'm like, rambunctious, huh? Redacted was aware of security camera footage recorded in the area of where Maddie was dropped off. She stated it's not abnormal for her to sit in the parking lot of that church while she waits to be picked up from school. Interesting. And so she's familiar with that church parking lot. She does not know why Maddie would stand in the parking lot instead of walking to school. Because it's a complete fabrication of a story? How about that? She swore to the truth of the statement she provided. This interview was audio recorded. Now there's a second interview with Jenn, I guess, redacted for the purpose of clarifying certain information which was collected throughout the course of the day. I presented her a still photograph from the video, which was captured by the camera of the church, and asked her if she was able to recognize the car or Maddie in the video. She stated she did not recognize the vehicle, however the individual seen may possibly have been. And remember, she said this was which date? The 27th. She said that she had not seen the video and the police had only described the video to her sister, which we did see that happen in the body cam. But on the 27th at 20:04, I'm just like, wow, she really lies, huh? She can lie. Dana says, watermelon fun. Oh, thank you so much. I do love watermelon, and it is just about summer now, right? Okay, so she says she did not recognize the vehicle. However, the individual seen may possibly have been Maddie, as the individual does appear to be wearing a light-colored top with darker-colored bottoms. However, no further identifying features were seen. Keep it vague. She also reaffirmed her account of earlier events. Redacted and redacted used to go hiking. Does that mean Stephan and Maddie? Or what? Jenn and Stephan, who used to go hiking in the St. Cloud area. However, she's not mentioned wanting, so I'm guessing one of these redacted names is, so it could be Jenn and Maddie. Used to go hiking in the St. Cloud area. However, she has not mentioned wanting to live in the woods in the past, as was seen in a text message in her phone. This comment may have stemmed from her talking to her about the possibility. So Maddie talking to one of her friends about the possibility of World War III with the current situation in the Middle East in the weeks prior to this incident. Oh yeah, it's World War III talk, right? Actually, her friend did say so. I'm just like, or she's like, I'm getting the hell out of here when I turn 13. You guys ask if I still have the trigger bunny. I do. Can't show it here because it'll be for the entire episode, right? It's this whole case is horrendous. I'm quickly going to take a sip of water. Okay. She also reaffirmed that Stephan was in fact, now this is interesting, not home when she woke up at 9 o'clock on February 26th. Now here we go. She called Stephan multiple times. Okay. Stephan returned her call at approximately 10 o'clock and informed her that he accidentally left his phone at home. That story doesn't add up either. There's inconsistencies because, which we'll get to, I think they actually mentioned it here later. They talk about, Stephan's going on the drive, dropping Maddie off, looking at the vape shop, whatever. Jenn says she left the home at like 9:30, because she had a doctor's appointment at 10:15. And that Stephan called her at 10:18. I always find that weird because I'm like, but your appointment is at 10:15, but at 10:18 you're on the phone with him. Now I know doctor's appointments, usually they run late. But she was going there for some like blood appointment or something. I'm just saying, if her appointment's at 10:15, why is she on the phone to him at 10:18? Allegedly. But here she's like, she called him multiple times. Why? Could just be like, what the hell, where are you, but why? Why so many times? What's going on there? What are you worried about, huh? Anyway, and so he accidentally left his phone at home. She returned to the home at approximately 11:15, at which time Stephan was at the home as well. But one would think that if he's calling to be like, hey, I accidentally forgot my phone at home, he's probably at the home, back with his phone. Okay, so I offered redacted a courtesy ride from the hotel that she and Stephan were staying at. She accepted the offer and I transported her in my agency-issued vehicle in the passenger seat. During the transport, Redacted and I had a brief conversation. While speaking, I noted that Jenn referred to Maddie using the past tense several times when she mentioned her. The police heard that. They took note, like, damn, she's referring to her in the past tense. Clearly combining that with not mentioning to anyone that she has asthma, that Maddie has asthma and needs an inhaler. Yeah, combine those two things. In the past tense, several times when she mentioned her, I inquired about whether or not it was normal to allow Maddie and Stephan to sleep in the same room unsupervised. She replied, this was not common practice. However, she did not have any suspicion that anything inappropriate would occur between the two. Again, she's talking about her own daughter who just turned 13, 12, just going on 13, right? As if it's like another girlfriend in the house. Like, well, I didn't think that they would cheat. The way she talks about it is like, I didn't think that they would be inappropriate. It's not, maybe they're just writing it like this because we can't hear her say it. I'd love to see these interviews at some point. But if she's literally saying, well, I had no suspicion that anything inappropriate would occur between the two. If that's a sentence, then I'd like to correct it by saying, well, I had no suspicion that my ex-boyfriend or boyfriend or whatever would ever be inappropriate with my daughter. Not they. It's not consensual stuff, you know what I mean? Okay. So she said, Jen used to be very hyper vigilant. Now, hyper vigilant is actually a phrase I really like. I call myself always hyper vigilant. I'm always like high alert everywhere I go, like hyper vigilant. Be aware of your surroundings. Check your, what was that trial we watched where they talked about it was Daniel Howard, the peripheral, the periphery, in my periphery. Anyway, check your periphery. Be aware. Be hyper vigilant. Stay safe, right? But she says she used to be very hyper vigilant around Stephan. However, as the years have gone by, she has allowed Maddie and him to be alone because they get along very well. How about don't do that? We're learning. But what? I don't know if was she ever hypervigilant. I do wonder. But even that, even if she had no idea, right, about any of this going on. Wow, that's how groomers operate, like Stephan, like love bombing the mom, infiltrating the home, being like, we get along so well, and then slowly but surely desensitizing the mother to it's fine. You know, we're building our little, whatever they were, those little, I don't know if it was like Warcraft or whatever it is. He's like building little things with her and playing games with her and all sorts of things, doing very childlike things to bond with Maddie. That would happen over time. And then maybe Jenn saw, oh, well, they get along really well. Okay, I trust him fully with my daughter. Don't. Careful is the lesson, right? Mary T says, does this chick ever know how to tell the truth? I don't know. Thank you for being a member for 21 months. Yeah, you guys are like, it's the R word, non-consensual. Lisa says, I can't believe she has shown way more concern for the POS than her daughter. That is not normal. Okay. Remember that clip where she's like comforting him? Oh, that's like one of the worst clips ever. Maggie, thank you so much. Okay, so we learned a lot over there. That she did not have any suspicion that anything inappropriate would occur between the two. Okay, and she used to be very hypervigilant around Stephan. However, and why? Was there a gut feel? Was there an instinct or what? Just in general? And then why did you let your guard down? It's an important lesson there. However, as the years have gone by, she's allowed Maddie and him to be alone because they get along very well. No. Okay, so let's just quickly, I just really want to see we're on page 873 still. No suspicion. I did say that, yes. Okay. Interviews of Stephan Sterns. Stephan lives in the home with Jenn and Maddie. However, he splits his time between this home and the home of his parents because he's such a damn leech in Northport, Florida, where the Laundries live. Stephan states that he splits his time due to his parents needing help with their daily care due to being elderly. Stephan arrived, I'm saying it like that because he's like, I'm a good guy. Look after my elderly parents. And then I'm also, helping out. When Jenn needs help, I'm there. When Maddie needs me, I'm there. Like, he's that guy. Be very careful. I'm always saying this. You get genuinely good guys in the world. Okay, that's my disclaimer. I know that. I'm married to one. He's a very good guy, very nice guy. But when guys are walking around flashing their good guy badge, like I'm so amazing, such a caring guy, just that's a red flag to me. Any guy that's claimed to be such a good guy, red flag for me. When they walk around like that, yeah, he's just He's helping his parents out. Are you sure, bro? It sounds like you're leeching off your parents' house, and in between that, you're going back to Jen's house to sleep over and abuse her daughter. Freaking groomer. This jobless bum here. Just being like loafing around. Even Maddie said it makes her uncomfortable. He's like loafing around. He's literally sitting in the living room, eating all their food and making her uncomfortable. That's what she said to her counselor. Stephan arrived at the home this time on Saturday, February 24th or Sunday, February 23rd. Why does he do that? Why would Jenn morning? Yuna said, no. You can never, ever let your guard down. I know, right? Protect your kids. Never let your guard down. There is a lesson. So they say, Stephan stated the last time that he saw Maddie was on the morning of February 26, 2024. Now, this is the same crappy little narrative we've heard a million times. I've dropped it off and saw her walk away, and he thought that, she was rummaging through her backpack to get her headphones, but then he remembered, which he later says in a different interview, like, oh yeah, she didn't have a phone with her. So he doesn't actually know why she was like rummaging through her backpack. This story we've seen, okay, many times. So now we go to 874, which is this one. What did I write here? Oh yeah, the grandmother does not like him. The grandmother doesn't like him. Jenn Soto's mother, doesn't like him. So I've had some emails of people pointing out that in the body cam that we watched together, which is on the playlist, Jenn Soto's family is like in the background, right? And her mother is in the background. And they were saying, well, if I was Maddie's grandmother, why is she not right there? Like talking to the police as well. Why is there this like distance? And then Jenn is not really interacting with Stephan. They're both standing there, each answering individually. Stephan just parroting everything Jenn said. The other family is just kind of like side-eyeing them. Well, I would say it seems to me that Jenn may have been a little bit estranged from her family, right? Especially because she's like, I didn't go to the birthday party. Neither Stephan or Jenn were at Maddie's birthday party. And it sounds like they treated Maddie like crap, based on what we're hearing from Maddie's friends, right? But maybe the tension in the room was that of like, yeah, we don't like this guy. Like, what the hell happened here? Now she's missing? Where's Maddie? Right? So they say, okay, the same story there. Hold on. Smoke shop, yes. Due to the flat tire, Stephan was unable to join Jenn to pick Maddie up from school, as the couple would have had to leave by 2:30. Now I'm gonna, Stephan here is swearing the statements he provided were true. The interviewers, lies, all lies. So here we go. One more before I go to the grandmother's interview here. They say Stephan could not recall any arguments between, I guess, Jenn and the family, or any trouble that or is it Maddie? Maddie and the family? And the trouble that she's been in recently. Although, he says, Maddie can become agitated due to her hormones at times. Really, bro? You're really gonna go there? You're gonna go that low? You're gonna say that? This guy. Due to her hormones at times. He says Maddie's diagnosed with ADHD, tends to be very forgetful. On the morning of this incident, she forgot her phone at home, in her bedroom, which is not uncommon. So now we know, where was the phone? Oh, in her bedroom, he said. Okay, interview with Maddie's grandmother coming up. Yeah, it's coming up right here. This is interview number 2. While at the home later in the day, I spoke with Stephan again. I asked Stephan which stores he went to when he was out completing errands before he suffered a flat tire between 12 and 2. Stephan stated he went to a Target, and earlier in a previous interview that we read, I think in part 1, he said he went to a couple of Targets. A couple? Why are you going to so many Targets? What are you trying to get? A Target? Like, why are you bouncing around between them? Anyway, so he said he went to a Target and also in the vicinity of a game shop called House Rules, located near the intersection of US 92 and Oak Street in Kissimmee, Florida. Stephan could not provide any other stores that he went to. He stated that he never went to House Rules because of the flat tire. And he also could not recall exactly where he got the flat tire. And he was only able to describe the area of like US 92. Just like that huge highway. Yeah, that spans across, I don't know, a long area. That one. Somewhere in the area of US 192 in Kissimmee, Florida. He's like, somewhere in Florida, I got a flat tire, basically is what he's saying, right? Wow. They say this conversation was not audio recorded. Now, interview of redacted, they say on the 27th of February, 2024, that's the day after Maddie was last seen, right? At 13:12 hours, so just after 1 p.m. Redacted identified herself as Maddie's maternal grandmother, so Jenn's mother. The last time that she saw Maddie was the night of February 25th at her home located at, all of that redacted, where her birthday party was held. It's not uncommon for Maddie to sometimes walk from redacted to her office located at. On February 26th, I would say Jenn called and asked if Maddie walked to her office because she was not currently at school. She stated that Maddie was taken to school by Stephan, whom she knows as Jenn's ex-boyfriend. There you go, Grandma's clearing that right up. She believes that Jenn and Stephan broke up in December when he moved out of the home. Stephan possibly came to the home for Maddie's birthday. See, nobody knows what the hell he was doing there. Clearly not anything good. Stephan has taken Maddie to school in the past and states that he dropped her off at a nearby apartment complex near, called Urbana. So this guy is like always dropping her off, not at the school. I mean, I'd say that's dodgy on him. It could be possible that she's like, I'm really embarrassed of your car, like, do not drop me off there. Or maybe she's really embarrassed of him, or whatever it is, right? Do not go anywhere near my school. That's my safe space, or whatever it is. But still, like, dropping her off at what age? When? You know, just like at a complex, at the church, wherever. Oh my goodness. Okay. So thank you all for your chat here and interacting. I glance every now and then to see, but I really look forward to reading your comments as well. So make sure you leave a comment after the live stream as well. So they say, her grandmother says, Maddie has never run away from home in the past. Approximately 1 year ago, there was an incident where Maddie was upset due to having an argument with her mother. And she called, I guess, the grandmother. At that time, Maddie explained she was walking around the neighborhood due to being angry. However, she soon went back home after being told to do so by, I assume, Jenn. Or maybe the grandmother. Just like, go home, right? So that's a consistent narrative from the victim, Maddie, saying, I was so angry. I can understand why she was angry, right? And she was so angry with her mother. That's what they say a lot of the time. Natalia, thank you so much. Yeah, Peggy says, either way, not where he said he dropped her off. So then, though Redacted did not have any articulable concerns for Stephan, or I don't know if that's Maddie or Jenn, she stated she does not like Stephan. So that's on the record. There you go. She does not like Stephan. Whether that would be a gut instinct or just how he is, or that he's leeching off them like that, whatever it is, I'm sure that Jenn's mother wanted way better for her and her granddaughter, Maddie. So the grandmother's instinct seems to be quite spot on there, right? Trust your gut. That's another lesson in this case. Because you never know. You might just think, oh man, I don't know. Just like, ooh, this guy gives me the heebie-jeebies, but you don't know exactly why. But just maybe the lesson would be, remember, we're not blaming anyone for anything. We're just trying to learn from this. Like, okay, trust your gut. If the grandmother's like, I don't like this guy, spot on. He sounds like a pretty terrible person. Actually, that's the understatement of the year. He's a vile person, the worst we've heard of in a long time. DG, thank you so much. Carla Lily's like, Target. Exactly. He went to a couple of Targets, not so much Walmart. Interesting. So now we are on page 875. Let me just see. Yeah, the grandmother did not like him. Okay, so the next page would be 892, where we're going to learn that Stephan Sterns allegedly factory reset his phone twice. And sorry, what? So this, let's just go to where it is. Just hold on 1 second. It says it somewhere here. It says it somewhere here. Somewhere on this page. Okay, let's just read it from here. Factory reset twice. Okay. Your, I think I always say affiant. I think it's affiant, but okay. Detective Kevin O'Malley is and has been, since May 2012, duly sworn deputy sheriff for the Orange County Sheriff's Office. So we carry on. As a result of your training experience, has probable cause to believe the following. On February 26th of 2024, at approximately 2000 hours, the 13-year-old victim was reported missing by her mother. She was advised by Maddie's stepfather, ex-boyfriend, Stephan, mother's ex-boyfriend. Stepfather, my ass. Groomer, predator. Stephan Sterns picked her up from home, dropped her off. Okay, so this is that same narrative that we have, right? Yeah, is it here? Yeah. Okay, wait. During the interview with Stephan, he provided consent to search his phone. However, he stated he had accidentally performed a factory reset on his phone on February 26, 2024, the same day that Maddie went missing. He provided his phone number. After an extensive canvass of the area, interviews with Maddie's family and friends, it was unusual for her to be dropped off down the street from the school and not stay in communication with family and friends. So here we go. During the initial stages of the investigation, Stephan Sterns provided consent to search his cellular telephone. It was determined it had been factory reset 2 times. Twice. Oh, he was making extra sure. It was determined that it had been factory reset 2 times on Monday, February 26th. Oh my word. Damn. 2 times. A forensic download was done on the phone and was determined numerous images were on the phone of... I hate that language that they say there. I'm not going to repeat that. Of Stephan Sterns abusing Madeline back to when she was 11 years old, and later they determined back to when she was 8 years old. Okay. Stephan obtained a new cell phone on... What? He obtained a new cell phone on the 27th of Feb 2024 and has been using it since, because they took his phone. Maddie is still missing and her disappearance is deemed suspicious. Stephan was interviewed on February 28th of 2024 and provided untruthful testimony regarding his timeline with Maddie. He lied regarding his whereabouts with her on the morning of February 26th of 2024, and surveillance video proves that he was with her in his vehicle at the time, in that time period when he claimed that she was already dropped off at school. They had video, like he's lying his ass off, and they're like, let him talk, because they've got surveillance video at that same time period of him in the vehicle with her, and they believe she was already deceased. While in the interview room on February 28th of 2024, Stephan Sterns was in possession of an Apple iPhone in his pocket. I requested he provide me with his phone, which he did without question. Based on the suspicious nature of Maddie's disappearance, the already documented images detailing the sexual battery to her by Stephan Sterns, your FN requests permission to search this digital device for additional evidence related to the ongoing sexual battery of the victim and information as to whereabouts of Stephan in the previous days to detail a search area and pattern in an attempt to locate her, as he is suspected of having involvement in her disappearance. Okay, so they have probable cause to believe that the information being sought may be evidentiary in nature. This page 892. Yeah, factory reset twice. So here, there's nothing actually there. I think we're actually almost at the end of this document because it's 896 pages, right? I think that was pretty much the end of that. So here, they're signing that search warrant. Here is the search warrant as well. And guys, that's the end of the document. Here it is. The return of the search warrant. They received the search warrant on the 28th of Feb and executed the same in Orange County, Florida, on the 28th of Feb 2024 by searching the premises described therein, by taking into my custody the property described in the above inventory and receipt, by having read and delivered a copy of the search warrant and inventory to the name of the person. And that's what we have. So, we made it through the whole document. Can you believe it? Hope that you enjoyed the going to the most important parts, because there's lots of redacted pages and search warrants and things that are just, applying for them. We want to see the results of them, of course. So we did that. Kaz says, I'm late. Don't worry. Better late than never. There's always the replay. So we've learned a lot of things from this document. In 896 pages, we learned a lot. Stephan Sterns factory reset his phone twice. We learned about him actually being caught on surveillance at a hotel, a Holiday Inn, vacation club, hotel, parking garage, backing his vehicle into a parking space upstairs, top floor, and carrying Maddie's body from the passenger seat and putting it in the trunk. What? We learned about his flat tire. We learned about what he put in the trash compactor in the morning and in the afternoon. In the afternoon, he put his tire in there. This guy's such a dumbass, like at the complex where Jenn lives, where he also on and off again lived. We heard from, where was the math teacher once? There were other interviews here. Today we're going to talk about the math teacher. Wait. Science, math, let's look. I'm like, no, there's something missing here. Just wait. Not there, not there. Must be something that I skipped over here. I'm just quickly looking. Science teacher. Tell us, where's the science teacher? Wait, science teacher. I just want to bring it up again because I remember reading that and reading about the math teacher and science teacher. And they were basically just saying that Maddie was struggling at school and returning her work in late and all of that, as we saw before, right? Science teacher. Where? Find it, find it. There. Okay, okay. This was page 875. What did we miss on this page? Oh, the grandmother does not like him. Okay, okay. We went to the grandmother does not like Stephan. So it's only this little bit. So stay here. Stay here. What else are we going to learn? Redacted identified herself as, the roommate as well, as Jenn's roommate. She and her 15-year-old son have a room in the home. She last saw Maddie on the afternoon of Sunday, February 25th. That's after her birthday party. Well, no, that's before her birthday party. The birthday party was around 3 p.m. At approximately 12:30 hours. She did not see Maddie return to the home because she was already in bed by 20:45. Further, she did not see Maddie leaving the home as she always leaves by 7:45. Stephan was staying in the home for approximately 6 months. However, he moved out of the home 3 to 4 months prior. Stephan and Jenn broke up but still agreed to live with one another until he left. This guy was just leeching. Stephan and Jenn have been together for 5 or 6 years, says this roommate. Jenn did not see Stephan at all until the afternoon. She said 2 or 3 times, so is that a lie? According to the roommate, they say Jenn did not see Stephan at all. Oh, the roommate did not see Stephan at all until the afternoon of Monday, February 26th, and does not believe that he arrived at the home until the night of February 25th, even though Stephan and Jenn are saying, could have been Saturday night, could have been Sunday morning. The roommate's like, or Sunday night, which makes the most sense as well. Okay, so then she did not share any concerns about any activities in the home. However, she did share that Redacted sometimes has trouble regulating her emotions. Don't know if that's Maddie or Jenn, right? Then here's the science teacher. This person identified herself as a science teacher and is familiar with Maddie as she's a student in one of her classes. She's been her student for approximately 6 months. In class, Maddie's typically quiet, reserved, and often loses focus. She frequently states she's not feeling well and has to go to the school nurse. She started the year in her 3rd period science class, but was recently moved into the 6th period science due to issues in another class that she was having. Although her grades have always been D's and F's, since moving to the new period at the beginning of the year, she's only turned in 1 or 2 assignments, which one could expect from a traumatized individual, right, who's being so abused at home. So although she's frequently withdrawn and quiet, she never attributed any of her behavior to being sad or depressed, but rather explained it as students who struggle with, or common with students who struggle with learning to be slightly withdrawn. On January 22nd, she noticed that Maddie had been more tired since moving to a 6th period class, and so she sent a message to, Jenn to notify her. Jenn responded that Maddie did not take her medication that day. And that was the reason for her behavior, which is a bit of a red flag. I don't know. However, she noted that the tiredness extended beyond just that day. She has never made any suicidal comments or threatened other students. And then there was just this one. It's just this little portion that we missed after the grandmother's snark. We like the grandmother's snark a lot there. Una said, thanks, G. I'm sure you feel like I do. Learned a lot, more than what I ever wanted to know, but so important for justice for Maddie. We care. Absolutely. Thank you so much. So here they say, identified herself as a math teacher she's familiar with Maddie as she's a student in one of her classes. She's typically very quiet in class and frequently has to be reminded to pay attention as she's known to lose focus. She's normally very reserved and receptive to redirection. In the week prior to going missing, Maddie appeared to be more easily agitated, retorting with a negative attitude when she had to be redirected, which her friends said as well because she stopped taking her medication on February 14th, so that makes sense. In the past, Maddie has expressed that she was upset and asked to see the school counselor. However, she never revealed what she was upset about, and we heard from the school counselor yesterday, so if you didn't see that, it's time-stamped for you. So they say, she did not describe her as sad or depressed and stated she's never made any suicidal statements or expressed that she wants to hurt anybody. She swore to the truth of her statement. The statement was audio recorded. Okay, and so that was everything. That is now everything from all the notes. Didn't miss anything. And then we went from there to page 896, right there, the end of the document. So, here we are again. That was a lot, right? We learned a lot of things. And hopefully I could summarize what we learned from this document in a video. It's going to be another mission, because like, damn, we learned a lot. But I don't know, will we see more arrests or not? Did Jenn really not know at all, or what? I don't know, there's a couple of lies in there. Red flags, definitely the asthma and inhaler. Red flag is really, that one is a big one for me. Okay. Melissa said, I hate that everyone saw all the signs after the fact. Right? And sometimes I guess another lesson could be that if a child is really withdrawn at school and quiet and not really focused or motivated to do his schoolwork and all that kind of stuff, yeah, that really could be a sign of being sad or being depressed and all of that, right? Because they were like, I think she was sad. I think she might have been quite sad. Definitely traumatized. Could be a sign of trauma. Could be a lesson. We always like to look for lessons. What can we learn from this? Hopefully it could save lives in the future. Whatever it is. Sometimes there's small lessons in between. Sometimes there's giant lessons. So yes. Thank you so much, everyone. I really appreciate you being here with me for part 1, 2, and 3. If you didn't see part 1 or 2, I would highly recommend checking it out, because every single episode from this document that we've now been deep diving has something else in it that we didn't hear in the others, right? So you want to see part 1 and 2 and 3 to get all of that information. And as I say, you can watch it at 1.5 speed, which is what I like to do on any replays I watch. 1.75 even. And it's all time-stamped for you. So just click on the, the pinned comment. It's always the top comment. It's one that I make that I pin. Just click on the little blue numbers there. It's got a chapter right next to it. It'll take you straight there. If it says like Maddie's best friend interview, you could just click on the little blue numbers. It'll take you straight there, and you could just hear that portion if you just want to hear it again. Okay, so I'll keep you posted on whatever is happening next in this case. We'll see if we get to hear any audio interviews, because these people all had audio interviews. You could hear they said, and we had audio interviews. So we'll see what we can get from a FOIA request or things like that. These things take time, of course. There's many requests, and it's a huge amount of data. So we just be patient. I'll let you know as soon as I have anything that I can report back on. In the meantime, make sure you take care of your mental health. Make sure you have a great weekend, okay? Get some sunshine or fresh air, whatever it is, because these cases are heavy. And without you even realizing, I find they can really get under your skin. They can show up in your dreams, otherwise known as nightmares. Currently, my brain is amalgamating the Lisk case and this case, making some very creative dreams. It's horrible. Johnny says, your hard work is appreciated, G. Grizzlies rock. Thank you so much, Johnny. I really, really appreciate it. Pernille says, timestamps are excellent. So if you guys ever want to support the mods, buy them coffees, you can go to grizzlytruecrime.com, go to the support page. If you want to support the work that I do, then you could also go there. grizzlytruecrime.com, go to the support page. If you want to buy merch and things, everything's on there. Everything's on the website. I've made it super user-friendly and easy. You can also read a little bit about me if you want to. There's an About Me page too that answers all the questions, even an FAQ section for you. grizzlytruecrime.com. All right, everyone, have a wonderful evening, afternoon, whatever time it is for you, weekend. And I'll see you all again very soon. Bye.